I'm Sherry Prindle, and I've been a trainer for 16 years, and I've primarily worked for the seminar company of Fred Pryor Seminars, and I've trained all the speakers in Fred Pryor for several years in a row, done a lot on my own. I have the Professional Coach Academy, which is a coach certification school, and our program tonight is sponsored by Trainer Co-op, which is a brand new organization that's designed to support trainers so that they can compete with large training companies like Fred Pryor Seminars. Everyone, this is Jamie Swindell. He has been training for almost as long as I have, but he has been sort of iconic in his ability to move people to take action in the room, buying products back of room, overcoming their objections. It's fabulous. So, Jamie, I know you have that really amazing, awesome laugh, and almost any time I've ever heard anybody come anywhere close to heckling, you use that laugh, I think. But what do you have to say about our topic today of handling hecklers, interrupters, and other unruly attendees?
I actually enjoy it because I look at it as the seminar room is my house. So you're not going to disrespect me in my house and live. So for me, what I do is I like to pre-call it. I like to set it up in advance. So it would be really difficult to heckle me after I lay the foundation. So I know many trainers like to talk about the 3 kinds of people that are in the room, and I do that religiously. You know, for those that don't know what those 3 types are, you have your achievers, the people that want to learn, they want to be there. And then you have your hostages who don't want to be in the seminar room. They feel like they were forced to come, you know, by their mommy, their daddy, their boss. Somebody had no, you know, they have no skin in the game. They were forced. They're upset. Those are typically going to be hecklers. And then you have your vacationers, the people just cool, glad to be not be at work that day. So they're just happy. So I laid a foundation. I talk about the 3 kinds of people, and then.
Okay, I'm sorry. And then, so you talk about the 3 kinds of people, and that kind of already sets it up that it's like, because I said one of the reasons people heckle is they think it's not cool to be at a seminar, and you've set it up that it's cool, that it's not cool to be a hostage, because that means that you have no power and that
Correct.
Someone else is controlling you, and there's nothing cool about that. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Of a hostage. So I'll say things like hostages. Now watch my facial expressions. Hostages, these people, they're just like, they're whiny. They're negative. They always find fault in everything. They're hard to please. These people are, you know, a lot of times they look like this. They look like they're perpetually constipated all day, look just like this. And they're the ones that whisper to each other. They pass notes around. They're just like the little 2-year-olds in school, and they show up in these seminars as well. So if you see one of these people today, just give them a hug, because they need a friend. That's what they really need, is a friend. So give them a hug. So I really call their behavior to the forefront. So then, if someone should heckle, and in my experience, they try to heckle you right when you're into your resource invitation, when you're trying to go over your packages and all that. So they'll say things like, can we get back to the content? You know, I came here to learn about, you know, whatever the subject is, Excel, management, whatever. I didn't come to learn about your products. You just keep trying to sell us. So then I'll just say something like, oh, don't worry about that. This is for the achievers, remember? And the rest of the class is like, ooh, put you in your place. And that's it. That's all I really have to say. I don't have to really go into it, because I already described that those are the people that don't want to learn. They're just miserable. So as soon as they show themselves, they show their colors, to it. See, this is not for you. Remember, you know, you're not part of the cool club, so don't worry about it. And that's usually all I've had to do when someone tries to heckle me, because I've already laid foundation. So the rest of the class kind of takes care of that for me by saying, oh, look at you, ha ha. And they take care of that for me.
So yeah, because I teach the horse and rider analogy, and kind of it does the same thing, because basically by teaching that, I'm saying, so we all have this immature, well, not immature, but we all have this part of us, the part of our brain that's about the intelligence level of a horse or a dog or an intelligent mammal. And, you can let that part of your brain run your life, or you can, take the reins and drive your life. So the same way, whenever someone is a heckler, everyone knows that's their horse. And we've already established that the horse, like everyone's got a horse, and that if you don't have the self-discipline to, battle your horse, then, there's nothing cool about that. So very cool. I love your laugh is so good. You've got to do that for us, because that clinches it right there.
Sometimes I'll do that too. I'll just laugh and be like, "What'd you say?" Oh, that's funny. That's okay. Hey, I understand. You don't know better. That's all right. Class, and what do we describe that as? That behavior. What do we say that? What type of person acts like that? And then they'll say hostage. Oh, okay, cool. So do you being that way? Well, I wasn't trying to be a hostage. Well, your behavior says that you are. Achievers want to learn. They come to the seminar excited. They're saying, listen, show me anything that can help me get better at XYZ topic. I want to get better at this skill. So if that's resources, great. If that's taking notes, great. Whatever it is, show me. So I make that really clear right up front, so we don't have those issues. I've been heckled probably maybe 4 or 5 times in 13 years. So I get really excited because it turns me on. Challenge me. You didn't step to the wrong person. So yeah, I have no problem.
Well, and what you just said, Jamie, what you just said is important though too. So I do find that there are a lot of trainers and speakers who get heckled a lot. And I'm like you, like almost nobody steps up to the plate to heckle me. So there is something that has to do with how you bring yourself into the room, how you carry yourself, how you do this room management, that people just realize, no way, it is not worth it. I am not going to win if I try and heckle this person. So Jamie and I don't get heckled much. So could you speak to maybe the nonverbal or the other aspects that make it so that we're not even, people won't even go there?
It's really all about mindset, how you perceive yourself. How do you walk into the room? How do you control the room? So do you go in thinking, oh, I hope today is going to be good. I just hope that people like me, and I just friends today, and I hope nobody gets mad, and I hope I don't trip, and I hope my zipper is not unzipped, and I hope I don't fall. Like if you go in like that, they're going to destroy you. The audience is like piranhas. When they start tasting blood in the water, they go off and they go all in. So you want to make sure that you go in thinking, look, this is my house. So we're going to run it the way I want to run it. So there's some rules to how we behave in my house. Just like you behave in your house. So from the beginning, to the people. So you are actually doing them a disservice if you allow them to take you off of your game. It's like if you go to the doctor, you say, doctor, look, I'm hurt up, I have pains here, here, and here, and the doctor wants to give you a prescription, and before you get the prescription, you start saying, well, I don't want to hear about your medicine, I don't want to hear about your prescription, don't tell me about no kind of medicine, I need you just to give me like, just like rub my back or something for free, and then that'd be cool. Like that would be, whatever the doctor says that is going to help you. So that's the way you are. You are the doctor. So you don't allow the patient to throw you off before you give them the prescription.
Jamie, you've had everyone mesmerized. I haven't had any comments over in the chat, but I love that you came on because I know you're one of the kings of like the fact that you like hecklers, the fact that you enjoy them coming into your room, and that you make it your house. That's fabulous. Anybody that's out there have any conversations, any questions you want to ask to Jamie or to me, any comments you want to make, or we'd love in as well. We can have up to 4 people. It looks like Mercedes, you've figured it out in the area, especially since we're all trainers. That means that we're all good at conversation, and many of us are experienced trainers, which means we have a lot of great experience with hecklers. And, I have to say that for me, since, you're sort of really an expert on this, the couple of times that I think I've let it get to me, I think there's been two in teaching, 4,000 seminars. There's been two times that I really think I let it get to me, and I don't think the audience knew. But it was when there was a person that sat right in front of me. I mean, that chair right there in front of me. And all day, every single thing I said, and it was when I had large groups, so there's 100 people for me to take care of. And everything I said, they made a comment or a question the entire day. And no one else can hear this, but all day long, they keep, asking this or saying this. And after that happened to me twice, and it kind of just wore me down to the point that I was getting too sensitive to where I wasn't being kind to everyone else in the way that I wanted to. I realized I don't have to answer them. At first it was like, I just need to answer their questions. Usually that satisfies them, but I just don't need to answer them. I can ignore them and they typically stop, but that's been mine. So just kind of giving an example for all the rest of you. If you have a circumstance that you've dealt with that you'd like to hear us talk about, if you have your story that you'd like to tell, just call in and we'd love to have you. But any thoughts on that? Do you know what I'm talking about, Jamie? The person that just is there in front of you the whole day.
Hey, listen, throughout the seminar, you've been making different remarks and things like that. And, that's not what we're here for. We're here to really serve everyone in the room. Everyone came to learn certain things. And so are you mature enough to continue today and actually be plugged in and connected to what we're talking about? Or would you rather just take the time to leave now? What would your preference be? Notice my demeanor. I'm very serious.
And my version of that, would be just something along the lines of, hey, just wanted to let you know, I appreciate you right there. And I can hear all your little comments, but everyone else can't. And I don't have time to repeat everything you say. So I'm mostly just going to keep with the large group. And if you have something that you feel the whole audience needs to hear, then you can raise your hand just like everyone else.
I'm not
See, that's
give
me
them
versus
any
Jamie.
type of wiggle room to continue with that behavior. Because again, it's not just about me and my ego. It's about everybody. Because if I can hear it, people around them can hear it too. Chances are I'm farther away from them than their neighbor to the left or to the right of them. So if I let it keep going, it's been distracting to their neighbors. And those people paid to come to the seminar, or their boss sent them or whatever. So why should they be cheated because this person wants to be passive aggressive and try to heckle me like covertly? No, we're going to squash that roach right then.
Now, Jamie, this is so funny because you're coming across as being such a I don't know, stickler,
Right.
But I know that you come across in the room as being very fun and very laid back and very friendly. Is it because you're able to control the room that causes you to then be able to do that?
Yeah,
like if you take care of those few issues, then you can be like that with everybody else, right?
These, tough. I'd rather just be happy, joy, cracking jokes, having fun all day. That's my preference. But I know that I have to be a gatekeeper of everyone in the room as well. I have to make sure that we don't let any viruses that affect other people. So once I notify someone as exhibiting virus behavior, I have to take it out. So I'll start very friendly. Hey, listen, I know you've been making a couple comments to the side and everything. Hey, remember earlier we said side conversation should happen where? Good, outside. So any more conversations, feel free to go to the hallway with your phone or your neighbors, and y'all can talk all you want in the hallway. But in the class, set is for the class's benefit. Are we clear? And you nod your head. Neural NLP, right? You nod your head. Okay, go. We clear? And if they say, okay, I can do it. Okay, great. Then we're good. All right, stay there. But then if I have to address it again, there'll be less smiles. So I'm gonna let them know, all right, look, enough's enough. I did a warning shot earlier. Now we have to get more serious. So we've already spoken about the behavior. It's continuing. So are you mature enough to be able to be in the everyone else and abide by the rules we set up together as a class, or would you rather than have the rest of the day off and go to the mall or do something else? What would you prefer? Notice staying in class and continuing that behavior is not one of the options. And so I've only had to go that far once or twice. Very rare.
Right.
Very rare. Because when I lay the foundation, most people are going to want to be more of the achiever because of how I describe it. No one wants to be looked at, the loser in the room. And so it's funny because you'll have. Go ahead.
Well, and that's no, I mean, and again, that's why so much of the time they're doing it in the first place is because they want to set themselves up as not being the loser in the room. So to kind of recap, number one, you absolutely want to pre-call it. Jamie does it by talking about there being hostages versus achievers versus vacationers. I do it by talking about the horse and the rider and how there's a conscious part of your mind and this unconscious chattering part of your mind. And so basically what he set it up is that any negative behavior proves that you're a hostage. I've set it up that any negative behavior shows that your horse is in control, and both of those things make it uncool. So then once you've set that up, then nobody wants to be the uncool person in the room. If they continue it, it's probably because their horse or their attitude still is pressing forward, and then all you kind of have to do is remind them about the fact that that behavior falls into that category of a hostage, and they usually back away.
Right.
You remind them, and then you're really firm, and you give them options, and you treat it like it's your house.
Now, warning, it is a little crass, but I think we're all mature enough to handle it. She said, think of it like this. Dogs are very possessive of their trees and their territory. They mark their territory by lifting their leg on the trees in their area. So you got to look at your seminar room like this. This is my tree. I'll be lifting your leg on my tree. So it's like you mark your territory. This is my house. This room is my house, my tree. That's how on roll. All right, if you can't handle it, we can still be friends. You're just gonna be outside the hall. You're gonna be in the hallway. You're gonna be outside of my domain. All good. You're just not going to be distract everyone that's in the room. It's not going to happen.
And so notice the other part of that was the piece about referring to the behavior, not the person.
Take none of it
we can still be friends. That behavior can't happen in my tree.
All kinds of issues. Somebody may have just been in a massive fight with their spouse, and now all of that energy is still present, and now they think that I'll be the next victim. Of course, they'll find out that won't be the case, but they think that, or they have lived their whole life being a bully. They've learned that the bigger they are, the more they shout and throw stuff, the more people will cave into them and coddle them and give them what they want. Come in with all of these patterns of behavior that they've been exhibiting for the last 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And so they don't expect them, they don't expect to stop today. This is how they've been doing it, but they just haven't met yet. So I have to re-educate them on how today's going to go. Now, they're certainly willing to pick up that behavior at 4 o'clock and continue on with it. You just got to drop it off in the car when you come in at 9 o'clock and pick it up at 4. So it's just about being a.
Yeah, I always say in difficult people classes, you can't change them, but you can change how they act in your room or how they act with you or how they treat you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I know that you don't do as many. Actually, you do on your own, I'm sure, in your own training company. But within an organization, does anybody, Mercedes or Sheila, within an organization, if you actually do a training with people who work together, but you do see this in the public room where they all come together, there's sometimes that group thing, and my boss is here, my coworker is here, I can't be myself, I have to disengage because I don't want them to look at me. Does anybody have anything on that particular aspect that you want to throw in?
Okay.
I mean, Jamie, you being one of them, but again, somebody can click call in or make a comment. Or, I mean, I just noticed that that's a big one that we experience both as contract trainers and as any kind of trainer that goes out in the world.
And I think it's probably more of my mindset. So I always speak to the individual. I don't speak to the organization or to the team or the squad or whatever term you want to use. I always speak to the individual. I'm always letting people know you're here for you, regardless if your boss paid for you or not, or you made the investment. You're here for you. So, what is it that you want to get out of this seminar today? Put everything else outside of your mind right now. What is it that you want? And so, I'm always speaking to that person. So, I haven't really dealt with I can't really be myself. My boss is here. Now, they may be that without it being so obvious, but for the most part, I don't think I really had to experience that too much.
Because a lot of trainers who have this opportunity for people to ask for their money back will have the experience that there are 10 people from the same organization. 9 of them were happy. One of them was not happy. And then the one person started talking about how bad it all was. And you can see it. You read that it's this one person's words repeated on everybody's, evaluations, and everybody's money back all had the same words. And it was like that one person infected the whole team and got everyone to be unsatisfied with the program that they were really would otherwise have been satisfied with. And I get the pre-calling with the achievers
right there.
Can work in that.
When I coach trainers and they tell me that kind of stuff, that lets me know they didn't pre-call right. But the pre-calls in place, you really shouldn't have too much of that. Now, can it still happen? Sure. I mean, I've had evaluations where everybody will say, "Oh, you sold too much," or whatever, sold too much. That's the only thing I get from time to time. Sold too much, or this class was too in depth, too much content, or the opposite, the class was too basic. These folks in the same seminar, some say too advanced, some say too basic. And then if I look at who said it, something over and over again, it could be from the same company, that kind of thing. So I might have 3 people that say class is too basic or something. So I understand that it can still, happen like that, but it doesn't happen in a large scale basis for me too much. Not that it can't, but I think that pre-call is so important, setting the expectations. You have to manage people's expectations. You have to kind of give them what to expect. If you allow them to expect whatever they want, then they will. Just like I'm a big proponent of doing a needs analysis in the morning. Some trainers, all right, we're going to cover everything that's inside this workbook, and then they start reading the table of contents of the class like they can't read. Like, why are we reading the table of contents? It's already written, right? So forget all that. Tell me, look, we can look at all kinds of stuff today in whatever topic. There are countless studies that have been created for HR or management or supervision or customer service. So we could spend all month, all year studying every aspect of XYZ topic. Well, of course, it's impossible to cover every single facet of this topic in today's course. Also, it's impossible to cover every single thing in the workbook about today's course. So let's just focus most important to you, right? Like just write down what are the top 3 things you want to learn today about XYZ. If you could just learn these 3 things, what would they be? So now I get everyone writing down those 3 things. And then I say, all right, so now turn to your neighbor and share with them and find out what they want to learn. So now they're talking to each other. So that's building rapport, building energy. And I have everybody focused on just 3 things. Not all 30, not all 100 that's written in the workbook, just 3 things. So then after they talk to their neighbor, I say, all right, now talk to them. What is it that you want to learn? And then I'll jot down the things that they want to learn. And then I'll put that in a mind map. And most of the seminar companies have some software that does some kind of mind mapping thing. So it's a good chance. It gives you a good way to show off the software, sales as well. But in this portion where we're focusing on just getting that content down, so that when you get that mind map created, now you know what topics are really important. If they didn't say it, it's not that important. So as long as you cover the things that people said, you're good to go. You don't have to really worry about that. He didn't cover everything inside the workbook. Well, yeah, because you didn't say you wanted to learn something. So let people know up front. If you don't say it, don't expect me to cover it. Here's your chance.
Well, and then a lot of people will go back to the mind map towards the end of the day and say, okay, I've covered this, check, check, check. This is your last chance. Is there anything else that you had on your list that you need me to cover? And when you do that, now they've completely lost their ability to say you didn't cover what.
You don't do that either. Sad. You should have said something when I asked you the question, right? So when I go back to the mind map, it's just I'm checking things off as we cover it. At the end of the day, look, we've covered everything you wanted to learn. Give yourselves a round of applause. Good. Fill out the evaluation form. It's been my pleasure serving you. Holla back. Good night. So there is no last chance. You should have said something earlier. We're dealing with adults, right? I mean, this is not kindergarten. Should have said something. Now, if you're so shy, you don't want to speak up, well, then that's on you. You'll learn next time to speak up, won't you?
Right. Well, and I'm here in the chat. Ken says that he has them in the front of their workbook. Jot down, today will be a success when, as that pre-called needs analysis. And Guy Burns, who many of us know is an experienced trainer, does the top 3 challenges or the top 3 frustrations, that does both uncovering the needs and also uncovering the pain points that he can then leverage later for resource sales. I have one more. In the title of the blab today, I said hecklers, interrupters, and other unruly attendees. So I really want to ask about interrupters. When you are right in the middle of it happens right about the time for the climax of the big teaching point. Like you talked about when they interrupt you and you're about to do your sales resource presentation. And they'll also do it. You're right in the middle of teaching the most dramatic topic that you're just about to show them how to make a pivot table. Click, and then it's like they interrupt you right then and say, when you autofill, does Excel also know how to take out the weekend dates? Like when they interrupt you, is there any thoughts on how to handle that?
Because of the pre-call, no one wants to kind of talk out of turn, then that can be perceived as hostage. Because I said hostages like to whisper, interrupt, they don't pay attention, they ask questions out on topic. They caught a left field with some stuff. And you're like, where'd that come from? So I'm covering all of that behavior in the pre-call. So it rarely happens. And then when it does happen, it's usually not at that climactic point that you're talking about. It'll be some other questions some other time. And then all I say is, good point. Let me come back to in just a moment. And then I have to continue on whatever I'm saying. Good point. We'll come to that.
The biggest problem with it being at that climactic moment is it's like you feel like at this point, if I say to them, can I just finish this point real quick? Then the whole room can look at me as being rude when they were the ones that interrupt. Like in the world, somehow the person that is being interrupted is rude when they don't allow the interruption. That's kind of the way our society is. So in those moments, so I love the way you did this thing where you said hostages, because really, if we were to be literal, hostages probably don't ask questions out of turn, but I get what you did there. What you did was you named this thing hostage, and you took every behavior that you don't want to see in your room, and you said hostages I don't like to work hard. All that.
So I like to lay all the groundwork up front, so that way I don't have to worry about it later on. A lot of these things you're mentioning, they rarely come up for me because they've been labeled hostage behavior, and so no one wants to perceive like it. So everyone wants to be the achiever. Everyone raises their hand. They want to take notes. They want to invest in resources. They're all about working smarter, not harder. They're always looking for the slight edge. They're like, man, Mr. Lifestyle, just give me one tip, one trick, one thing that'll make today worth it for me. That'll give me the advantage in the marketplace, and I'll be happy. Get everybody focused on just one thing. If they can just learn one thing, today's a big success. So I rarely have dissats because people didn't learn anything, or I didn't cover the whole book or anything like that. Very rare, very rare. Usually my dissats are simply, I didn't like that he sold me product. Okay, that's fine. I'm here to sell product. So, okay, that's cool. No problem. I'm all right with that. And then go ahead.
So two things from good. Yeah, two things from what I heard Jamie just say. First of all, then kind of the big overall picture of what Jamie's really giving us is that not only do you treat your room like it's your house, so people are going to respect you in your house, but you also basically program the room in the behavior that I want is this, and the behavior I don't want is that. Where you wouldn't say that, or that wouldn't fly. So instead, you say there are three types of people in the room, and you make one of them attractive, and all the behaviors you do want you list. You make the one unattractive one, and all the behaviors that you don't want, and in that way, you invite the people in the room to pick one of three types of behaviors, and any one of these three types. You basically are going to pick to be one of these three things today, and having because I announced that you all are going to be one of these three. Then the people want to pick the cool one, and then you take that behavior and legislate it, or basically program it into the room. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that like an NLP kind of programming way,
not the conscious.
But
so in
go ahead.
Your language, speak to the horse, right? So if we can train the horse to do what we want it to do, the horse is so much stronger than the rider. So if the horse knows its power, then it can throw off the rider anytime it wants if it knows its power. So I want to speak to that horse. I want to let people know, hey, this is, like you said, this is the behavior that I'm looking for. And take it a step further, because I'll say, now, here's the thing I want you to understand. And after I identify all three behaviors or people types, I'll ask the question, how many of you see yourselves as an achiever? So I get them to publicly raise their hand that they are an achiever, which helps their subconscious mind take ownership of that label, of that behavior, of that classification. So they're like, yes, that is who I am. So they identify with that. So it's even stronger that they're now saying, yes, I am the achiever, and all of those things that you say about achievers, they apply to me too. Yes, I like to invest in resources. Yes, I'm respectful. Yes, I ask questions. Yes, questions on topic. Yes, I will see you after seminar if I have something that's off topic. So they identify with that. And take a step forward and say, listen, everyone, so all of you that aren't raising your hand, I do want you to understand that seminar is specifically designed for the achievers only. So if you're a vacationer or you're a hostage, welcome. Sit back and relax, learn something new, consider it a bonus. Today is for the achievers. So I'm really clear, I am only there for the achievers. Everybody else, do what they do, I couldn't care less.
Perfect. And there's just one more thing that I did hear Jamie do that I wanted to call out as we hit that 1 hour mark and complete the blab. But you said, I don't like to work hard. So I want everyone to also get that Jamie has this really fun way that he kind of tells a story and weaves it through the program, which really skilled trainers do that. And what that allows him to do is anytime something happens, he can say, oh, that would be a lot of hard work, and I don't like to work too hard. So it kind of makes it to where even when he's enforcing it, he can do it in a really playful way where everyone knows what he means, but it really creates this fun sort of persona. And I don't necessarily, I mean, you can speak to that if you want, but I did want to throw that out because I think that makes this whole thing that seems so, it seems so strict,
I don't want people
to actually be really fun.
In prison and I'm the warden. So I'm going to shoot you if you don't walk a straight line or something like that. No, I'm very playful. I'm giving you guys the behind the scenes, the mindset, what goes into it, how I'm setting things up. But in class, no one would ever tell you that I'm like everything. Most people think I'm a socializer. I just like crack jokes all day and have fun and all that. And I do, but it's strategic because I'm strategically speaking to the subconscious. So yeah, if people directly what you want and not want, then you will upset the conscious mind. The conscious mind is designed to protect you. So the conscious mind is there to make sure you don't get hurt. to make sure you don't get to the job and things like that. So it's on guard. It's doing its job. It's mind is designed to be cautious, to be skeptical, to be really discerning and all that. So that's what it's designed to do. And if you speak to the conscious mind, you'll constantly come up with objections. Oh, I gotta ask my boss. I gotta ask my spouse. Think about it. I don't have enough money. You'll deal with all that. You'll be worn out before the end of the day dealing with the conscious. If you talk to the subconscious, then you bypass all of that, and then the subconscious mind will make the decision. Say, man, I want that. I want that product, that service, that behavior. I want that. So then when you actually present your offer, people already want it before you even explain to them what exactly it is, because you've been feeding the subconscious mind all day long. So it's just a natural transition to, okay, here's my credit card, go ahead, that package, whatever that you're offering. And so you want to make sure that you're really clear on the objectives. You know, there are two objectives in contract training. It's number one, make sure that people have a good time, they enjoy, they are satisfied. So you got high satisfaction. Number two is high sales. High satisfaction and high sales. So if you do one or the other, but not both, you lost that day. Right? So everyone says, oh, you're wonderful, and they clap for you, give you hugs and everything, but they don't buy anything, you lost. Lost. If you sold a lot of products, man, you couldn't process the order forms fast enough, but everyone calls and they want their money back. You lost too. So it's not just about the sales. You want both high sales and high satisfaction. So in order to really get people to what you want them to do and not resist it, you got to speak to the subconscious. And one of the ways to do it, which I love doing, which Sherry was saying, is tell stories. With a story, you can wrap all of the medicine inside of the story and it won't be rejected. You know, like, for example, my brother, I have a younger brother, about 2.5 years younger than me. As a child, he had really bad asthma. I mean, terrible. Asthma attacks, panic attack, like just however bad you think asthma could be, that was my brother. And it was scared the mess out of us. You know, my mom would just be terrified. Everyone would be terrified. So she eventually took him to the doctor. I mean, she took him to the doctor all. At one point, the doctor said, all right, listen, you got to give him this special medicine called Slow. It's the name of it, Slow Bid. These little tiny little white little balls inside of a capsule. All right, now she would try to give it to him directly, and he hated it. He would throw it up. He would end up throwing up. I mean, it was a big mess. He would not want anything to do with Slow Bid. So she would take him back to the doctor and say, look, doc, I keep trying to give it to him. He doesn't want it. He resists it. You know, what's up? And he said, well, you got to give him that medicine. This is the only medicine that's going to address his behavior, his symptoms. He said, here's what you want to do. Does he like applesauce? I said, yes, he does. Great, perfect. What you're going to do is take the Slow Bid, break it apart, and actually sprinkle the little caps, the little white pellet things in the applesauce and mix it up, and then feed him the applesauce that way. She did it that way. He had no problem taking the medicine because the sauce covered the bitter taste of the Slow Bid. So he would eat the applesauce not knowing the medicine was inside, and he was able to get healed of that asthma condition where he does not have asthma today. My whole point in sharing that with you is that is how we want to give our seminar. You tell the story, and inside of the story, you pack in the medicine. You put the Slow Bid inside of the story so that no one detects it or tastes the bitterness of what it is that you are actually saying. Just like Sherry said, I'm coming across like really stringent and strict and all that. But that's because I'm just giving it to you straight. I'm just giving you a little bit about the applesauce. In the seminar, it's all about applesauce. You don't even medications in it.
Very cool. Thank you so much for all the trainers who came today, and particularly to Jamie Swindell for coming and joining us. Mr. Lifestyle, still the great one to learn from in the contract training business. Thank you so much. At the top
of the charts, you know, when I came in, I was blown away when they were telling me that you were teaching, like, I forgot the number now, 80 100, something like that. And you speak what, 4 languages, 5 languages? What is it? How many do you speak? 4, right? See, I'm like English. Hopefully, I try to speak English.
4 maybe, yeah.
That's about it. I got that 1, right? So I just acknowledge you for just being who you are, always leading the charge, investing in yourself, coaching, training, SARS. Like, you constantly practice what we preach. And I just acknowledge you for that. There's so many trainers that are hypocrites that don't do what they preach. They say, go to seminars, invest in books, invest in resources, invest in coaching. Then you ask them, when was the last seminar you've been to? Let's see, 1980. Like, how are you going to tell other people to become a training club member and sign up subscriptions and do all this stuff, or buy resources or get coaching, and you don't do it? And wonder why your sales suck. The audience can see right through you. You're not walking the talk. Right? You want to be real, be 100%, and that is who you are, Sherry. So thank you for just being who you are. You get a chance to aspire to be as great as you are for as long as you've been doing it. So thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're awesome. Until next time, thank you all again. I'm going to stop the recording.